Welcome to Otter Creek, where Jeremy and Beautiful Eyes bought peace and got plot twists, chainsaws, encroachments, tortoises, and a neighbor with carving ambitions. From fan meetups to defamation lawsuits, this is viral kindness turned chaotic, with receipts, leap pads, and a roadside middle finger. Let's get into it. In December 2020, Jeremy and Beautiful Eyes bought 70 acres in Otter Creek, Florida, planning to snowbird and settle into peace. Instead, they were sold the land illegally, with two major encroachments, including one from the sellers. One neighbor's house had to be physically cut and moved off their property, a concrete slab relocated, and 4 acres had been lovingly transformed into a local dump. Welcome to Otter Creek. Then came the chainsaw diplomacy. A drunk neighbor carved a middle finger into their fence post, calling it a cactus. Jeremy responded with his own chainsaw masterpiece, polished, rotated, and proudly pointed back. That infamous finger was a selfie destination for fans, so they had pulled back the gate to allow photos without sacrificing privacy. Because when life hands you petty vandalism, you turn it into roadside art. But viral content comes with viral consequences. It started with an email in late 2021. LMNOP reached out to Jeremy through the What the Hales business account, claiming she had just bought a 1.66-acre property across the street and asking if he could bring his tractor over to help move a tree blocking the driveway. Spoiler, she hadn't bought the property yet. To know Jeremy even had a tractor, she'd have to be watching his YouTube channel. She admitted she'd seen it a few times. Cough. Cough. Once LMNOP and her partner Crook officially purchased and moved on to the property, the emails kept coming. She began requesting items she'd seen in Jeremy's videos, things he'd found in storage units and showcased for resale. At one point, Jeremy gave her 2 leap pads for the child. Yes, there is a child. And yes, that generosity was weaponized. LMNOP had run a tortoise rescue in her previous town and brought the animals with her to Otter Creek, despite the climate being wildly unsuitable. She was receiving food scraps from the back door of Winn-Dixie to feed the tortoises, and began leaving some of it at Jeremy's gate for his chickens. He didn't ask for it. He didn't want it. Was it a goodwill gesture or a Trojan zucchini? Hard to say. Meanwhile, LMNOP, Crook, and the child were living in squalor. No plumbing, no occupancy permit, no actual house. LMNOP lived in a shed with the child. Crook lived in a camper. The property was surrounded by rug addicts, and one meth-fueled resident fired a PW randomly into the neighborhood. Otter Creek, population 100, plot twists 10,000. What started as a neighborly tractor ask turned into a full-blown infiltration attempt, leveraging fan generosity, exploiting a child, and trying to build a turtle rescue on a dump site. Jeremy and Beautiful Eyes stayed kind, stayed generous, and stayed smart. The chaos came to their gate, and they turned it into content, with boundaries. In December 2022, Jeremy and Beautiful Eyes hit 500,000 subscribers and hosted their first ever fan meet and greet. 500,000 time to grill. Fans flew in from around the world. LMNOP invited herself by offering to bring a tortoise to dodge the registration fee. She planned to launch her own YouTube channel at the event and asked to set up a donation box. Jeremy declined, and that's when things spiraled. LMNOP's own family warned, if she doesn't get her way, things get toxic. They weren't wrong. LMNOP and Crook began defaming Jeremy and Beautiful Eyes online, trying to exploit their fan base. Crook escalated by pulling a firearm on Jeremy while he filmed from a public road. LMNOP plastered Otter Creek with 9 double-sided signs falsely accusing Jeremy of rape. A defamation lawsuit followed, backed by forensic handwriting analysis confirming LMNOP as the author. The lies didn't slow down, they leveled up. MNNNNA and Crook began spreading wild claims, including threats to post explicit images and false accusations that Jeremy and Beautiful Eyes had purchased their schoolhouse to house George's family from Egypt. Insert blank stare, with implications clearly designed to stir fear and paint the family in a dangerous light. By May 2023, Jeremy and Beautiful Eyes had had enough. They sent a formal cease and desist to LMNOP and Crook, hoping to draw a boundary. Instead, the chaos escalated. The letter was ignored, the antics intensified, and Jeremy and Beautiful Eyes headed back to their Ohio residence for the summer. Because, yes, they winter in Florida and snowbird north when the heat gets too literal. Then came the mayor moment. LMNOP, apparently mistaking local government for a complaint department, began calling the mayor's office of their tiny Ohio village repeatedly. The receptionist, who deserves a medal and a mute button, kept calmly telling her to send an email. So she did, because when phone calls flop, inbox drama is the next best thing. Meanwhile, Jury Me and Beautiful Eyes had already tried filing for injunctions in Florida. But Florida law requires 2 documented crimes and a third to qualify. And even after Crook pointed a firearm directly at Jury Me, no charges stuck. Florida shrugged. Ohio said, "Hold my gavel." In early September 2023, Jury Me and Beautiful Eyes filed for civil protection orders in Ohio, where they hold legal residency. On September 3rd, they announced the move during a live stream. Days later, LMNOP ran to the courthouse in a last-ditch attempt to flip the narrative and file something against Jury Me. It was giving court cosplay, minus the paperwork. Ohio took one look at the evidence and said, "Holy cow." Jurisdiction was clear, the harassment undeniable, and the response swift. Civil protection orders were granted against both LMNOP and Crook. They are now legally barred from coming within 500 feet of Jury Me and Beautiful Eyes, whether it's a private road, public building, or even a town hall meeting. Not even the bake sale is safe. And if you think that's the end of it, bless your heart. The Otter Creek plotline pileup is just getting warmed up. More TLTR is on the way. More twists, more receipts, and, yes, another live stream might accidentally reveal too much.